Hi, this is Martha Thornburg, Digital Literacy Specialist for the Mount Vernon School District. And today we're going to be looking at calendar in this video, and then we'll be looking at mail in another video. This is just an introduction, kind of a little tour through calendar to show you some of the great things available using Google Calendar in your classroom and to organize your life. So I'm going to jump over to my calendar. So this is my school calendar, and I can tell it's my school calendar by looking up here, and it says Mount Vernon Schools. I have more than one account, so I always have to make sure where I am. So that's good to remember. I've actually done some tricks so that my multiple Google calendars, I can see them all in one place. That's one great thing about Google Calendars is you can overlay several calendars on top of each other. So we're looking at my calendar, and I'm just going to take you kind of through some different pieces on the calendar. So you'll see right now that I'm in the week view, and that's my default on my screen. You can change that in settings, and we'll take a look at that in a minute. But you also have the option of day view, week view, month, and then I have this is 4 days, but you can actually change that to whatever view from, I believe it's something like 2 to 9 days or 6 days or something like that. And then you can also have an agenda. So you've got those different options of views. I keep mine on week, as I said. Over here, this little mini calendar is a nice way to navigate. So if you want to know what's happening on June 16th, you just click right there, and it'll take you to that day. Or if I want to know what's happening on August 12th, there's that. So it's easy kind of to jump around using the mini calendar. If you want to get back to today, you just click on today, and it takes you back to today. So that's how you use the mini calendar and jump around in the calendars. If you want to just scroll through, you can use these scroll screens to go through. Now, as I said, one of the really nice things about Google Calendar is that you can overlay several calendars on top of each other. So perhaps you've got your different classes, and you could have a class for each calendar, or maybe you've got your home calendar with your a calendar for each kid, maybe, or something like that, so that you can see what you need to see. I've got family calendars, I have my own personal calendar, I have my personal school calendar, and then I have a digital literacy calendar. There are several different calendars that might be useful to you. I'm thinking of next year in our district, for me, a green and white calendar to know which day it was at the high school would be a really nice calendar to have. A professional development calendar, and perhaps an events calendar, and all of those could overlay with each other. So you'll see here, these are the calendars that have been created by me or shared. I have access to them, and so over here I've got these shared my calendars that I've created, and right now you'll see with the colors that I've got a couple of them open. So I can decide which calendars I see by clicking on the calendars over here. So if I wanted to see birthdays, you can see birthdays. Here's my digital literacy calendar. This is at the end of the year, so everything's a little blank right here because we're all just busy tying things up and nobody wants to meet with me. My family events here. This is my personal calendar at home. I've got a professional development calendar. So there's some different calendars that I can toggle on and off. The other thing that you'll notice if you click on this little drop-down menu, you've got some options. So you can change the color of that calendar, so what color things happen in that calendar. You can go to the settings for that particular calendar. You can create an event, and you can share this calendar with someone else, and you can edit notifications. So this is like a little shortcut to get into that information about that calendar, and we'll look at some of that in a minute. Okay, the other thing that you can do is under other calendars, once we really get going using Google Calendars and everybody has their calendar set up. If you set up your calendar as a public calendar where other people in our district can see busy and free, then that would be a nice thing to share with your coworkers, so that if they're setting up a meeting, they can use that information just to know not exactly what you're doing at that time, but that you may be available for a meeting or not, and that kind of thing. So that's a good little piece of information to know. So you can get other coworkers' calendars, and you'll see here I have Dr. Swanson's calendar, and it just shows busy and free on it. Now you can also have other calendars, like a weather calendar, and you'll see up here you can see the weather. I can see the weather for each day, if there's weather for, so I guess it goes about 4 days in advance. I can add other calendars. Down here you'll see something that says add coworkers calendars, browse interesting calendars, add by URL, import a calendar. So there's some different ways you can get other people's calendars. So you'll notice here I have a calendar that I went to browse interesting calendars, and I got the Seattle Seahawks calendar so I can keep up with them. I have sunrise and sunset, so I can see when the sun rises and sets each day. I can count which day of the year it is, holidays, different things like that. So you can add some calendars just to add interest that is important to you to the calendar. There's tons of different ones, like holidays in Bolivia and things like that if you want to do that. So that's that panel right here. Then if you take a look here on the more, here's where you can print. And then I'm going to show you just inside the calendar how you can add an event. So there's 3 ways to add an event. The first way is just to click on the time where the event's going to happen. And I'm actually going to go to next week because this week is a little bit full. So I'm going to click right here at 9 o'clock on Tuesday. And I get the option of, it's already got the time in it because I've clicked on the calendar to get that time. And it sets it up, I have it set for 50-minute slots, but you can change that default. And you can also make the time whatever you want, and I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. So I can say meeting with Holden, and then I can choose which calendar it goes on. So you'll see I have several different calendars, and if it didn't fit on that calendar, I could put it on whichever calendar it does fit on. And so if my meeting with Holden isn't going to be 9 to 9:50, I know I have something I need to edit. So I can click on this edit event, and I get more opportunities to add information to that specific event. So I can change the time here if I want, and it gives you defaults, but you can also just go in and, change it yourself too. And you can say it's an all-day event or it's an event that repeats. So if it repeats every week on Tuesday, I can click on that. You can also change the time zone. That's probably not going to be very necessary for just working in the district. You can also put a location on here, and if it's a specific location, like if I typed in Mount Vernon High School, it would actually give me a map for Mount Vernon High School. Let's see what else. And you can add a description. A nice thing and a way to use this as an assignment calendar with your students is you can add attachments. So you could actually put assignments as events in your calendar and then have an attachment attached to the event, and that could be the assignment for the students. So that's a kind of an interesting thing. Also event colors. So you can change, if all of your PLCs you want in one color and you want your parent conferences in another color or something like that, you could change that. You can also change how you get notifications. So do you want to pop up on your computer? Do you want email, or do you want to text? And how often, when you get those, is there as well. And then down here, your calendar has a default setting, and you can set that when you set up your calendar. It's either public or private. my calendar on my phone is talking to me right now. It's either public or private. And then you can say, based on this particular event, do you want to show it as available or busy on that calendar? So that's good to know. You can also invite people. So it's very easy to invite somebody, and the nice thing is once you invite somebody, if they've shared their calendar with you, you can click on suggested times, and it will show you suggested times that both of you are free. So that's kind of a nice thing, but it only works if everybody's using the system. And then you can decide, and the person who's invited to the event, what they can do once they see the calendar. Can they change the event or invite others or see a guest list? And so you can decide how that looks. So those are all the things on the event piece there. I'm going to go back here. So that's one way that you can create an event. And the other another way is right here where it says create. If you click on that, it jumps right to the event. And so then you would put in the title of your event, your date, your time, and all of that. So that's from the create. And then there's one other option, and it's this quick add. So this one seems a little funky to me, but maybe it would work for some people. So if I said meeting with Holden at 2 p.m. tomorrow, and I click add, it's going to add that event, and tomorrow is Saturday, so it pops in right there. So if you've just got something like that that you want to add, you can add it that way. We're not looking at Gmail right now, but when you get an email that has a date in it, just somebody says, hey, on Saturday at 3 o'clock we're going to do this, it will underline that date in Gmail, and you'll be able to click on that and put that in your calendar as well. So back to here, I think, or here. So those are the three ways. You can click on the time in your calendar and then edit the event, or you can click create, or you can click the quick add and do it that way. Now you'll notice on this particular screenshot, there's these big time things here, and what these are appointment slots. And I have set up appointment slots where people can come in and create an appointment with me. And the way I did that is I click on a space just like I'm going to make an appointment, an event, and instead of going to event, I click appointment slots. And then the same thing can happen, so I just say meeting time. That's a silly thing to say, but let's just say it. So meeting time, and then I can say offer is in a single slot, or I can say offer slots of 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 3 hours, whatever I want to do. And then what will happen is I'm going to hit create slots. Then this becomes a slot. And if I click on it and go to edit details, this gives me a link. So I could share this link, and of course one slot's not a good example, but I could share this link with parents, with students, with other teachers, whoever I needed to make appointments with. And I could say, go in here and sign up for an appointment. So they would go in, they would click on this calendar, and right now you'll see me, since I'm logged in as me, you see it looking out like me, but they would click on this calendar and they would see the different slots, and they would be able to click on a slot and sign up for that time, and then that would be added to my calendar. So appointment slots is good to remember. There'll be more information in the resources that I share with you about creating appointment slots and using those, but I just wanted you to know that you could do that. So the other thing I wanted to show in this particular video quickly, and like I said, more of this information will be, you can explore it further in other resources. Up here, this gear is where our settings are, and you can change the way that your calendar looks. Makes it smaller. I don't like my calendar small, so I make it big. You can go to settings here, and from settings you can do all kinds of things like the date format. Like I said here, the event duration, I could change that to a different time. When the week starts, when are my working hours? Do I want weekends to show or not? You saw weather on there. If you put your location in, you can have the weather show up on your calendar. You can decide whether or not you want to see events you've declined. So you know you can't go, but maybe you want to remember that it's happening at that time, so you can check in on it later or something like that. So lots of different options here just in the general calendars. If you go to calendars, it'll show you all of your calendars, and you can edit the preferences for each of those calendars. So what I want you to see on here is that when you're editing a calendar, you can decide whether you want to make it a public calendar or a private calendar, or who you want to share the calendar with and what you want them to see. The other thing is you can share a calendar with specific people. So in this case, I have different accounts, and I want all of my calendars to be available to me from any of my accounts. So I actually shared with myself in these. But if I was working with a group of teachers and we all were going to be adding events to the calendar, I could just add their emails, and then I can decide that this calendar is going to be completely managed by all of us. So we all have free control. We can make changes and manage sharing. Or I just want them to be able to make changes to events, but I don't want them to be able to share the calendar with anybody else. Or I just want them to be able to see all the events but not make any changes. Or I only want them to be able to see free and busy. So you have all of those options with any calendar that you create. So also on settings, you can set up your calendars to also work with your mobile devices. And the nice thing about Google Calendars also is that you can have multiple calendars show up on your device, overlay on your device, just like here on the thing. So you can have your personal calendar and your work calendar. You can see if there's any conflicts, that kind of thing. And then labs, it's just a fun list of Google likes to play, and they try new things. And so they have all these things that you can add to your calendar. And you can just go through and see if they make any sense to you, like background images, see if other people on the team are free or busy, when the next meeting. I mean, there's all kinds of different things that you can put on there. So those are interesting to take a look at as well. Okay. So we've talked a little bit about a lot of things, and as I said, throughout this instruction, you'll get to delve deeper into how exactly you do these different parts of the calendar. But the big things I want you to know, Google Calendars is very collaborative, so you can share calendars with each other. It's easy to overlap calendars, so you can see how your different pieces of your life fit together. It's easy to share events, create events, and navigate the calendar. So that, in a nutshell, is an 18-minute and 33-second overview of Google Calendar.